Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you back to the Dynamic Decisions podcast, where we explore the strategies that drive successful decision making in the world of business. Why? Because the best decisions come from great conversations. I'm your host, Teasha Cable, CEO of C Model Data, and today we have a leader in DevOps and cloud innovation. His name is Thiago. He is the founder and CEO at EZOps Cloud, based in Orlando, Florida. Thiago brings over 9 years of experience leading his company to deliver secure, innovative DevOps and cloud solutions, which are tailored to specific businesses. He's got an immense amount of expertise, has helped companies that are, I think the number is over 500 or so, and he's got a very unique approach. This includes ACE, an AI cloud engineer for continuous cloud operations. Thiago, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to learn more about you and how you make decisions. Tell us a little bit more right now.
Thank you, Teasha. I'm really excited to be here. It's been 9 years, right? It's been a big journey, especially if you think that, I am originally from Brazil and the company started there 9 years ago. It's kind of two companies, really, right? So the first one working remotely from always with American clients, but working remotely, offering, outsource near shore team. And now working here locally, also with nearshore team, but it is like a process of building another company, new laws. So it's a whole new process. So it's been a big journey, but really excited also.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Dynamic Decisions today. So here you are, you've got this company, you've got a strong focus on delivering secure and innovative DevOps and cloud solutions. You've got a multidisciplinary team. What do you believe is the most critical element for orgs to be successful when they're trying to leverage cloud technology, but they're really focused on real, true, meaningful business transformation?
So I think it's a whole process, right? So when we started, I think the biggest thing is to find the ideal team. So not only one or two guys to help with the delivery, but I think when I say team, like the delivery team, that's when you start like your first couple of years. You have not only to find the ideal team, but ways to find more people like that. So create some kind of profile of people and how you onboard them, how you work with them, and making sure they're really good, they're able to provide what you need, right? So I started just by myself, right? So I had to find people that could deliver just like me and find a way to make sure they have good training. They have ways to deliver just as good as you would deliver personally. So I think that at least the first three years we took in order to find this ideal profile. But when everything was good, the interview and how to train them, then it's kind of magic happens because one start to train the other and you have a really good team in your hands. And with a good delivery team, everything else kind of works, especially in the beginning because good work generate more good work.
Good work leads to good work. I like that.
Yeah. So over time, you will always have customers coming back and give you even more work. Of course, in order to scale, we already have more than 50 engineers. That's not the only thing, but for sure is the first one that you have to worry about. And then for the next step, I would say like as you grow as a team, you need good managers on a delivery team. I would say, you have to build your project managers. You have to build people that could deliver without you. Because with a small team, you can still be part of that. And then with some good project manager, you can really deliver without them. And I think would say like the third phase of this process would go to marketing. Right? And in my case, I think any kind of guy that have tech background, it's marketing, sales, because you can sell as a project manager. So as a tech lead, I was always able to sell. But to generate leads, to understand exactly what you have to do in order to generate leads, so you can have multiple teams with multiple project managers to be able to work all the time, you have to have good leads. And that's when you really have to develop yourself.
For your leads, you're actually talking about multiple decisions there in terms of who are the right people at any given point in time. What are the different ways that you're going to go about qualifying those people? So you have a lot to think about related to leads. I wanted to ask you a little bit about ACE. Can you tell me more about how that works and then really how this particular innovation helps businesses to optimize their cloud infrastructure?
Sure. Really, I think it's the most exciting thing that we have after 9 years, almost 10 years now, is one thing that we are pretty excited. It seems like 10 years ago when DevOps and cloud was really there and impacting all the companies. Now AI is going to do the same thing, but we are really in a kind of an early stage. After 9 years and doing a lot of work on this area, we saw AI and said, look, this really needs to help. And what we did, we put our expertise in develop an AI agent that could actually do part of our work, automate a really big process of our work. For instance, you can ask an AI to build yourself servers, to build yourself a whole platform. You could ask the AI to monitor whatever you need. But in order to do that, you do have to build a lot of things. You have to build ways to make sure the AI is gonna execute something really secure. You have to build something that the AI will understand, because usually AI are just created to answer questions. How it's going to be able to actually execute and to build infrastructure and code. And as you build it, you have to have a lot of context on what you actually are building. You have to have memory. Oh, why did I build that? Right? So we were able to spend over a year now develop actually an AI agent that could help us build infrastructure, help secure infrastructure, and ideally something that can be 24/7 to help us so we can get some sleep. Also, sometimes we have clients in different time zones, and it's a little bit hard to manage, but Ace really help us because technically he's always available. So he can analyze an incident, see what is happening, help answer any kind of question the customer might have. It's an amazing thing. So as we were able to do a lot of proof of concept, we really understand an amazing solution using the AI models, and we have a way to evolve as the AI models that are being developed. So we got a product in our hands that I believe that is going to really change the market. This whole DevOps and operational support, I can really change things. In our case, they are already helping our developers to reduce like 50% the amount of work that they did in the past. Of course, there are a lot of work to be done. We still need those senior guys making sure the AI doing the right thing. Our AI, we're able to learn from the work that it's doing. So whatever we do, if there is something wrong, we say, look, I think you did something wrong. Then can you review? And then it reviews, okay, now I'm right. And whatever they did, they learn from that. The next time that task is gonna be executed, they're not gonna do the same thing, right? They're gonna learn from that mistake in the past. So we were able to build this kind of memory, trying to understand for each project, customers have different preference. So it means that we can see what kind of technology, what kind of process this customer have, and at the same time, everything that the AI is able to execute, have a security policy and even compliance policy that the AI can make sure that everyone is following through. So it is incredible. Sometimes I even try to use a little bit. I'm not a developer. Sometimes I use it our own Plus account, for instance, and get really surprised on the level that it is. Then we are building, we keep seeing the new models that are available. And I think it's going to make a huge impact in the market for sure. Not only the tool itself, ACE itself, but the whole AI is going to really make a difference, although it is really early in the market and a lot of people are still learning what it can do.
So I'm excited for you about ACE. I know that these software development tools are really changing the game. They also empower people like me. They empower founders to be able to move forward in different ways. So I think And so then we can make better use of our resources because we actually have this advanced technology at our fingertips. So you've got this extensive experience across AWS, Azure, and GCP. How do you approach selecting the right cloud platform and tools for different clients? Are there any particular factors that you consider to be the most important? Like, is it scalability? Is it cost effectiveness? Is it alignment with business goals?
Yeah, so Tisha, over time, when we started, there are so many tools available, so many options that was really hard because we have to try it out to see the best one. And I think as we built the team was really good because we could implement them, was always get a good feedback. But nowadays, they're pretty like, if we count, there might be 3 or 4 alternatives for each client, right? Because everybody went through the whole container process using Docker, using Kubernetes, the whole serverless stage was already also happens. Usually we just see the technology the clients have. And as you identify the kind of technology they have, it's going to fit a serverless, a container base. And from the container base, it's going to have a really complex cluster like Kubernetes or something Docker based from the cloud itself that can offer. Well, AWS, for instance, it have a lot of the AWS ECS. So nowadays, it's kind of 3 or 4 flavors. That's why AI is bringing so much to the table because it's actually something new from this whole 3 or 4 technology that we have infrastructure wise. Building everything with Terraform, trying to choose a specific pipeline. And nowadays we go with a cloud specific thing. We get most from AI because everything is getting so much operational, not as new as 10 years ago when we had so many of those tools. We didn't know which tool would be used more. So with AI, they can just try to automate as much as possible this whole process that was kind of already automated, but by engineers.
Listen, it's incredible. I think one of the things that I hear you talking about is really trying to ensure that every single step, right, has some deliberate process, some deliberate meaning. Like you're making these decisions really in an extremely deliberate way, which kind of brings me to my next question. So your company has values. Those values include excellence, innovation, autonomy, collaboration, trust, curiosity, transparency. Ask me how I know that because I do my research. How do these values actually influence your approach to client partnership and project delivery? So I know that there's a set of decisions that go into this is the project that we're going to take on. These are the people we're going to partner with. Tell me a little bit more about how your values play into that.
It's a good question, but it's also important to say that we build ourselves through the Upwork platform. And that was actually a really good thing because on the Upwork platform, you need to be transparent because you have a lot of competitors. And it's funny because you build a company over 9 years, you have a lot of experience, you've done that a lot. Sometimes you still your competitor is the guy from, India that is charging $10 an hour. And sometimes you lose for that guy. So transparency is the first thing that you have to do because they do compare the work between the guy with $10 an hour, right? So you have to explain everything. You have to be transparent through the whole process. So we have to develop ourselves to be as much transparent, to try to answer all the questions and everything that the client need before we start each project, right? And when the project starts, I'm not a part of that. So our developers need to decide, how much to charge and how this is going to work. So we were able to really create a process that the developers just are going to say how much time they're going to take to build that kind of infrastructure for the client, right? If they're going to take 1 week, that's 1 week of work. If they're going to say they're going to take 2 weeks, that's going to take 2 weeks. I don't have control of that. I don't have a way to put anyone to change that decision at that point because everything needs to be so transparent. Clients need to go to meetings with the developers and they're going to ask how much time. So it's hours for everyone. And the only hours that we charge is the hours for that developer because again, we cannot add more and more layers and make everything complicated because our competitor is the guy from India is charging just 10 hours and he's the guy that is negotiating and discussing and charging and doing everything. So we have to make sure it's way better and not complicated and not that much expensive from the guy. That's gave us an opportunity to develop ourselves, to make sure the clients understand and the process is as transparent and simple as possible. So they can come back not only for that project, but for way more projects. And I think that was put us here 9 years later. Most it's really hard to get here, get something more investment or get sold, but we keep here. We don't think about selling or anything else because those clients that are coming back that are the ones that continue putting us here.
If you put in front of people something that's simple enough for them to use, you can actually like win that way. So if that's key to what it is that you do, I talked to another guest on a podcast who said something very similar, but I think that more and more people need to embrace this idea of simplicity, especially when you're developing solutions, because I think that there is complexity in the actual work that you're trying to do. But if you make things too difficult for users or even administrators, people who have to administer these solutions, then it can overtake the situation. So to our audience, I want you to think about your own cloud and DevOps strategies. What innovations have you made that have made the biggest difference in your operational success? Share your experiences with us on LinkedIn and other social media using Dynamic Decisions Podcast. All right, Thiago, let's talk a little bit about your leadership. So you lead engineers, you lead cloud architects, you lead project managers, and you also lead like site reliability engineers. There's got to be some strategies that you have that really help people to think about how they're going to collaborate. And then after they collaborate, how are they going to use that to do something new, to keep creating unique value for your company? Tell me a little bit more.
First of all, I think you have to lead by example. You have no way from that. Lead by example, always show up, always show to them how important the work is, how valuable the work is. But that's something related to our kind of work because technically the customers help us with that, right? Because the customer pressure them to make sure they understand how valuable the work is. So you have the customer pushing them, but you do have to do the same thing and they have to see how important it is, how important the work is, and you are always there helping them out, trying to make sure they come up with good decision. They are highly motivated. But the second thing that I would say is that how important it is to have employees for 5, 6, right? The most amount of time, because that's the one that's gonna push the rest of the team. You alone, you're never gonna be able to lead by oppression or by paying them less or more. That is not gonna happen. But having someone that is working with you for years and years, those guys that are not the owner or the CEO or anything else, they're gonna be able to motivate the team. So your focus needs to be on the people that are working with you for longer because they're gonna affect the guy that is just joined. So I have a few people that are really important for us. Our CTO, because he leads over 50. So whatever I say, they help me out, of course, give me feedback, but also reassuring the team for specific things. But whoever's with you for years is gonna replicate that importance, right? HR is pretty important because also it understand the type of people that is gonna work not only with the company but with you. Gonna understand what kind of people they need to hire, who's going to work, who's not going to work. Over time, 9 years, we test a lot of different people with different roles. And then you just have, gut feeling to understand, oh, this person works, this person doesn't work. But one thing that I always did, it was, give opportunity and give it time. I don't fire somebody because they have been through a bad situation, right? A bad moment. So give them time. I know that sometimes that's not possible for our companies, but if you give them time and opportunity, they will grow with you. But also answering your question, they will really help your leadership because you say some you're not going to be always right. You can't be
Right.
always right, but those people
Are
can
you
make.
sure about that? No, I'm kidding. You can't.
But
Yeah.
those people can make even when you're wrong, right? Because they're gonna convince the people, oh, he's doing that because of that, right? So, oh, he's wrong because he makes the company really important. And so sometimes he does things like that, right? So they have to understand you, in order to be a good leadership. I think that's where I would suggest, like, having people that you can count on. And over time, they're gonna be working with you for so much time that they're gonna help you with the leadership. But also, it's important. Like, it's not that I really found those people, right? So it's the ones that fit with you, because you hire a bunch of people. The ones that stay are the ones that actually became that leadership. People that stay in the when we started, right? I have a lot of great professionals that are with today. I'm like, oh, if that guy was with me, maybe he would help a lot. But he was not big wide because he didn't understood me, right? So he wasn't the right guy to stay. So you just have to choose the people that actually stay with you, and those guys are going to replicate your leadership to other people, I think.
So I've got your process. I've got it down. Are you ready to hear it? And then we're going to go into my favorite segment. But I'll start by just telling you, and it's really good. So for our listeners, this is really the process that you described. The first one is make sure that you hire people that you can count on. So you want to hire the right folks, but they have to be the right people for you specifically. And then you have to work to keep them. That's the second one. The third one is then lead them by example. The fourth one is show them the value of their work. And then the fifth one is show them compassion, and when you can, give them time. And then the sixth one is then demonstrate their opportunity. I love that. And then if they're the right folks, they'll hang on to that, and then they'll be very successful for your company, and they'll make you a great, strong leader. I think that's a great, great framework. And you just built it just now. Cool.
You see, it's not that you don't need the best people on the market. You need the best people that are with you, that are counting on you and gonna be with you to the end. That's gonna be the most important people, right? It doesn't need to be the best. Sometimes they are the best. Sometimes they are not, but they even might help more than the best people.
Hey, let's go to my decision-making persona exercise, okay? So we're going to explore your decision-making style through a persona assessment. I'm going to ask you 4 different questions that represent different decision-making approaches. And after each one of them, you're going to tell me how I'm asking the question, how much it actually resonates with how you decide. You'll have a scale from 0 to 100%, but you only get a total of 100% for all 4 questions. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the first one is called the feeler. It's a values-driven leader. The persona prioritizes alignment with core values and mission, often weighing the human impact and cultural fit of decisions alongside business metrics. So when considering a new cloud solution or DevOps initiative, I ask myself, does this align with our commitment to excellence, innovation, and trust? Even if a technically impressive solution might generate short-term results, I need to feel confident that we're building lasting partnerships and creating positive impact beyond just business metrics. How much of you resonates with that style?
So I only have a 100 if I sum everything up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
It's hard, but I would say 30 at least.
Okay. Tell me why.
I think the process of understanding a new customer and see the impact that we're gonna make to that specific customer is really important. And to be honest, it got really more important over time, because in the beginning you just want to help everybody, so you just don't analyze that much of customers. But over time, you see, you make bad decisions just like that. And that's going to get you later if you don't see how much value you're adding, how much fit that customers exactly is not going to work. So I think it's really important nowadays. And feeling the customer, if it's a fit. And again, if you have the opportunity to do that and choose the ideal client that you can really help and identify some kind of fit with him, it would be great. Try to put as much as I can.
All right, 30%. Okay, here's your next one. It's called the planner. The planner is a strategic visionary. This persona focuses on long-term implications and future-proofing decisions, always thinking several moves ahead and considering multiple scenarios. So when making strategic decisions about cloud architecture or automation tools, I ask myself, what are the long term implications of this choice for how organizations will leverage cloud technology over the next 5 to 10 years? I need to ensure that our solutions position clients for multiple possible futures while maintaining scalability and adaptability. Where do you stand there?
Also, I would say high, not that much, because eventually you can't plan that much ahead. Because especially in tech solutions, in the beginning, a lot of clients want, oh, let's be like a multi-cloud solution. So, but eventually you might not be that. So I would say 10 in that case, because you have to worry, but not that much, because you might not get to that point. You have to understand the scenario now and not worry that much. Otherwise, it's gonna be a huge project. It's gonna be really cost effective, and you don't get the result that most of our clients want.
That's really good for a lot of people who are kind of in the early days of their company too, getting started. I think it's super important. So that's good, good, good stuff. Okay, here's the next one. It's called the counter. It's a challenger of assumptions. So this persona naturally questions conventional wisdom and looks for contrarian opportunities, often finding success by zigging when others zag. When evaluating cloud strategies or DevOps tools, I ask myself, what assumptions are we making about how organizations manage cloud operations that might be fundamentally wrong? What is everyone else doing that we should question? I tend to dig into why certain approaches work and whether there's a more innovative method leveraging AI and automation to solve problems differently.
I would say pretty high. I think AI and ACE came from that. So I think we as a company, we're not offering sometimes only cloud and DevOps. So we are also offering the expertise of working with so many different clients. You can read a book and understand everything about cloud, but you don't know exactly what the people are doing that actually work or doesn't work. We are offering, and not sometimes not only in the cloud, in development, in everything, because you're saying, look, doing something like that, but a little different. So you're showing the expertise and working with so many different companies at the same time that I'm not a huge company. So I can share better those experiences than big companies that have employees working with just one or two clients. I'm working almost 100 company in 2 or 3 months, right? So this expertise is pretty important for them, not only in clouds. I think I have a first really important, the really responsibility to bring everything that everyone is doing in tech space for our customers and being able to develop ourselves all the time. We do have a training team that is just specialized into trying to figure out everything that other people are doing, making sure we are offering and we do understand how everything needs to be done. But also remember about Upwork, we have so many Upwork requests and projects that sometimes those new technologies, they came already from Upwork. Is people just ask me, have you done that? Have you done that? And eventually, I have so many people ask me that maybe I should develop myself on that. So I would give, I think, another maybe 40. I don't know the last question, but maybe 40.
Okay, maybe 40. Okay, that leaves you with 20%. And here we go. Here's the last one. It's called the data driver. It's an evidence-based decision maker. So this persona relies heavily on metrics, analytics, and concrete evidence to validate decisions, preferring proof over intuition. So before making important decisions about cloud investments or automation strategies, I ask myself, what does our performance data tell us about solution effectiveness, operational uptime, and cost savings? I want to see concrete analytics on system performance and business impact to validate our strategic focus.
I'm gonna have to change the one before because we're a full data team, not only cloud, but it choose leads, sales, feedback from clients. I have a spreadsheet that shows me everything that I need to do. So got driving my management decisions all the time. So everyone that is have every manager that is working with me, he have some kind of spreadsheet. And now we are using a lot of AI also. They have a tool that show us how many clients are coming back, how many clients are staying with us, profile of those clients. So it actually helps you drive your your whole company.
Redo your last two percentages. What do you have? You've got, how much would you put on your counter?
Put both 30 maybe, right? 30 and
30 and
30.
30. 30 and 30. Okay. So you are 30% feeler, 10% planner, 30% counter, and 30% data driver. Awesome. Yeah, that's really balanced too. And that's really the goal. There's no right or wrong answer on this. It's just a really fun little exercise to see what your decision-making persona is. Okay, we're going to wrap up the conversation now, but I do have a final question, right? So you're helping these companies, you're helping them to innovate, you're helping them to build themselves up. I mean, you're really an intricate part of what a lot of organizations need in terms of development support. So can you give one piece of advice to leaders who might be looking to leverage DevOps for business growth? What would that advice be?
I would say all to my clients, don't rely on just one person. DevOps and cloud, especially for startups. We have a lot of startup clients. They usually go to the path that I'm going to find one guy that is really good and is going to take care of all of that. So that's come problems from a lot of different places. Right? So reliant at least having two guys being able to support you, make sure you're doing the right way, because we do eventually have so many customers that come to us and they look, it's a mess. My environment is complicated and everything is not working. So, and then we have to take weeks and weeks to work to try to fix everything out, to try to understand everything they have. As much complicated that it can be. If everyone's going to use AI, that I'm sure everybody will, this will be more complicated. And because eventually it might be AI doing code and trying to build infrastructure, gonna add a more complicated layer on that. So you still need to have a team or a couple of people that understand everything that is there, that's being able to access that and be able to support the clients. So take a look at what you have, trying to rely on a team that is really professional and can really help.
Okay, y'all heard it here first. Thiago, thank you so much for sharing these insights and your expertise, which I agree with you. Expertise is a very important thing to have, a very important seat at the table. And it's going to be necessary even more so as we drive closer and closer to AI. So it's been a pleasure having you here. Would you tell everybody where they can learn more about you and more about EZOps?
Sure. We have our website. There is a lot of videos, especially DevOps specialists, Victoria. We are building a lot of ACE videos that is really cool. It can show you what you can do, but we are at EZOps.cloud and ACE is ACE Dev.
Fantastic. And to our listeners, I want to thank you for tuning in. Remember, the best decisions come from great conversations. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate it, share it with your network. Let's keep the conversation going on social media using Dynamic Decisions Podcast. And until next time, keep questioning, keep growing, and keep leading with purpose.